heaven bears me witness. I have never ever picked up the phone and begged him for money. I need money for something, or try to be close to him for the money. No, I've had value first.
Olushola Olaleye, thank you so much for joining us. I'm very, very happy to have you here.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
I think the brand that you have online is, or the first thing that comes across when people see your video is that you are just such a wise person. Like, you have so many deep, but not so deep, like wise practical wisdom. I say wise practical wisdom, but practical wisdom, those are the kind of things that you kind of, always have in your videos.
Yeah.
Is that intentional?
Well, I think I always say that's how I am.
That's how you are.
In the sense that I don't think I go to the camera and deliberately say, okay, I want to bring out some old wise fables from anywhere else other than from within. So in the sense that I think even in like a regular conversation with you, with my mom, with even an employee at the office or a mentor, that's how I naturally sound. I think in my opinion, I would say I'm engraced to maybe have a different or better perspective to specific things than maybe an average person.
Okay.
I think there's something people call maybe proverbial gift of the gab. Maybe there's that also. And then maybe I'm also quite precautious. So I think, yes, the precautiousness was a thing. So I think from when I was young, and maybe being the last child, having an aunt, having a mother that I was close to early enough, seeing life, became fatherless at a young age, I had to, from the age of about, I think 9, 10, 11 thereabouts, myself and my brother maybe lost the privilege of having a driver take us to school every day, had to start going on our own with the bus. So obviously life experiences at a very tender
bus,
age.
You mean like public transport?
Yes, public transport. Like my other brother is about 3 years older than I am. So he's maybe 13, I'm 10, and then we're jumping bus from Ilasamaja to Ijesha to go to school and, pretty much everything. And then we just became pretty much wiser early enough. We knew what to do, how to do. Then from a young age also, our widowed mom and with the support of maybe an aunt always let us know that, look, you have to be more intentional about your life right now. And then from that age, it became like that. Got into the university at a tender age of, wait for it, 15. You can relate because you were also young going into school. And yeah, it was like that. And I just think it's not like any deliberate attempt to try to sound wise. Even when I'm joking or when I'm doing anything, that's how I just maybe sound.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think.
And so are your videos scripted?
Phew. My editor is the reason my videos are scripted to a given extent.
No, of course.
So scripted in the sense that when you're trying to create content that is very, very, very minute, right? You need to have a hook. You need to have what comes after the hook, and then you need to have like a major body, right? So the thing is, for someone like me who could be very wordy and then could like to expatiate a whole lot, I found out that if my videos are not scripted, it could be hard to have to move from that particular hook.
Mm.
So scripted in a sense, right? So I just wake up and maybe script 8 things and not necessarily follow it word for word because I prefer to work without script.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a whole lot more eloquent when I don't have a script. But I have a script because the goal with Instagram short videos is to, in 1 minute, impact something that an average person would have to wait for 15 minutes to get.
Mm-hmm.
So you have so many words, but you have to put it in a very short, very, 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 very short So scripting helps that.
Yes, I think scripting is definitely very useful. I mean, I work for television, and everything you see on TV is scripted, apart from when they tell you it's live, and even that, like, is not. I mean, you know the questions ahead. Maybe I shouldn't say this. It's fun because the first time I told somebody, the person was like, "Wow!" Like really surprised that the journalist actually knows the question ahead. I mean, sometimes some presenters might pop in some surprises, but generally you have an idea of what you're going to say. And I think that also kind of shows the efforts that goes into content creation, because a lot of times people just feel like it's just, pick up your camera and start talking, and you see other content creators that are not as effective. And the reason is because they've not taken their time to craft exactly what they are going to say. Because, of course, on social media, every second counts, and somebody can just easily scroll away if you're talking too much. So that really, really makes a lot of sense. And I think it's important. So, you want to say something?
Oh, yeah. You said something very important, and I think it's the truth. So one of the reasons why, if you're a content creator watching this, you need to, first of all, understand your audience. My Dito friend is a big fan of Aka bands, Akanami. And Aka is, an acquaintance, buddies at the gym and everything. Great guy. When he's live on YouTube, he talks and gists for a long time. He doesn't have a script. The context permits that. But if you're coming on Instagram to do that, it's a different terrain. So you need to understand the audience and exactly what you're trying to pass across. So scripting helps you hit the nail on the head without much circumlocution and everything. So that's it. Then although what I run away from is the use of a teleprompter. It's good for newscasters and maybe you guys, but for me, because when you try to be a global speaker, you also want to ensure that you don't lose the technicality of your elocution and leave it always down to teleprompting and everything. Yeah, so just personal decision, and also when I script, I look, say, and maybe look down just a couple more times and I'm done. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. That's great. So I want us to talk a little bit more about your background. You spoke about having aunties, having an auntie, I don't know if it's one or more.
Aunties, yeah.
Aunties, having your mom, having your grandma. And I remember reading online where you said your grandma would always tell you Jesus is coming soon.
Yeah.
So how important was that to you? I mean, clearly that was important in forming, the person that you have now become, or the person that you are becoming. How important it was like your background to where you are now?
My background was everything. Everything. See, I'm always, every single time I get the opportunity when people ask me how I became who I am, I always ascribe it to very important people. Funny story, I was just some minutes ago still talking to your husband and telling him, how the little things he said to me back then or did kind of shaped a couple of things. So for me, growing up was everything, because I lost my dad when I was 7. So it took a village to raise this child. And the village was majorly, more on the maternal side, So my mom was the first child of 5 children. And my grandmom, a pastor. So she's almost 80, but she's a general overseer of a church in Lagos till this very moment. She shaped a lot of who I am. Godly counsel, pretty much everything. And I had an aunt who pretty much raised me. She was like the CEO of my upbringing. My mom was the CEO. My mom would go and provide this, but she was tactical, hands-on, always always eye on the ball, And then she's in the UK now. She's like my second mom. So all of these people helped shape my correction. And I think I became really wise early enough also, because I got to see mistakes that some of them made, and it helped me, then shaped me. Then I always would like to say this to the camera. Family aside, the 2 greatest influences in my life to this very day, I would say, in no particular order, I would say Bishop David Oyedepo you have no idea. I'm eternally grateful for the platform of oh my God, I'm such a pastor. Say Celebration Church. For the platform of Covenant University and every other thing about it. And then obviously, Pastor Emmanuel, not just has he shaped me as my spiritual father, as a mentor, but also as a person that I am privileged to call a friend. Seeing him close up day to day, one of the closest people to me, and his life blesses me. So Bishop started it. He continued, or I put it this way, my family started it to the core. Bishop continued it and put it on a particular pedestal, and then it just dropped into, Apostle Emmanuel's hands, and since then it's been one molding after another, and I think I'm just grateful. So yes, these people have been very, 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 very crucial, into shaping who I am, and then obviously friends also. So yeah.
Obviously, you're still very, very young.
Yes. Very. I like when I hear that.
You're still very young.
Thank you.
You're still in your early days.
Very, very. You sound like an old man right now. You're still in your early days. Person who watches it, I'm not going to say the difference between me and you is not that much.
Well, oh my God, you're still in your early days.
Very early days. Very early days.
And I have to say, like, not a lot of young people are thinking, the way you think. And you're a pastor, you have your own business, you're not married yet, but you will be married. Let me tell you, somebody was here how many months ago? You guys remember? I said the same thing. You're not married now, but you will soon be married. In less than a year, he was married. So
prophetic flow. Speaking to my life.
So anyways, you're not married yet, but obviously you will be married soon.
Well, what makes you think what do you think that? How soon? What's your soon? How soon is soon?
You have to bring seed for me to tell you how soon. If not, forget it. Let's leave it at that.
Okay. $1,000.
$1,000 when I see it now.
Okay. We'll talk.
In one of your videos, you spoke about how important it is. You were talking about 4 important things that you teach your child or your children. And the first thing you mentioned was that you teach them to be articulate. Why is it important for people? Why is that so important for you?
I'll put it this way. When it all comes down to it, or when the occasion demands it, it will not matter what you know if you are not able to let people know the extent, and how well what you know can solve their problems. Because it won't matter how loaded you are. It won't matter all the depth of resources, that you have, domicile on your inside and everything and all. What articulateness does for you is that it helps you bring all of the things in your inner recesses of your mind, and then it helps it become a weapon or a tool or a sword that you use to wield, pretty much in the battle of life. So I believe that articulation, helps you. I'm trying to use the right words. Articulation helps you express, all of your giftings. Helps you express all of your giftings, and that could be either in writing or it could also be in speaking. Personally, I think more of speaking than even writing. It won't matter what you know until you can express what you know properly. And then I've seen people lose amazing opportunities. I've seen people, lose what should be rightfully theirs because they're unable to speak up for themselves. Not just about speaking up for yourselves in terms of, defending yourself in the midst of chaos or standing your ground, in the midst of opposition. But I'm even talking about trying to get what you want or what could even be rightfully yours. A good example. It's useful in every single area of your life, either at work, before you get that job that you want. In an interview, you need to find a way to express your thoughts, very well. In a relationship, Your husband did not ask you out without knowing exactly what he wanted. So every single ramification of your life, in every single endeavor, anything you find yourself, you will need, to a very large extent, a very good capacity for self-expression. So it's super, super, super vital. So yeah.
I like the way you put it on social media. You talked about, I don't know if this is how you put it or this is how I interpreted it, but basically chasing God and still being present in like the midst of life's demands, whether that is work, business, family, whatever it is. Because sometimes I'm not going to lie, I also have the same battle or struggle where it's like, I just want to be in church all day, or, just be with God, all this work just stressing my life, but obviously I need to show up at work. I still need to be involved and all of that. What keeps you going? What helps you to maintain, I wouldn't say balance, I would say more of rhythm, maintain that rhythm in your life where as much as you are chasing all these things, God still remains the center of your life?
Two things: purpose, and then the second thing flows from it, priority. So, my pastor defines purpose as that one thing for which we were created and at which we must succeed. Otherwise, nothing else you succeed at will count. So for me, first as a believer, not even a pastor, the purpose of my life is to know Christ and make him known. So which means that that one is a non-negotiable. Now, as a pastor, it's a bigger platform to express purpose, right? Beautiful. However, I have an assignment. Assignment can be very cool, just like career can be very cool for purpose, through which God can, make the glory upon your life much more evident, right? However, which leads me to priority. There has to be a scale of preference in your life every single day. So God first, his work, what he wants me to do, and then every other thing can find expression through it. However, God did not outrightly create us to, the thing is, there's always an extreme these days. There's the first extreme of, give me, wanting all the world and keeping Jesus to the back seat. There's also another extreme of, give me Jesus and take the world. However, it is impossible to influence the world, without knowing how to wield your tool in Christ in the world, quote and unquote. So you need to have a proper balance to things. So for me, how I've been able to go about this is, now let's leave the whole purpose part. That. How have I been able to find balance? It's by seeing myself and my career and all of these things I'm doing and my multifaceted personality as God trying to use me to be a proper influence to a host of people. And I can't begin to tell you how this is going. I've had people walk up to me and tell me how a video that they saw somewhere changed their lives forever. How I've seen people, and the thing is that if you check my contents, they are not exclusively Christian contents. They are relatable to pretty much everybody. You get what I'm saying? So, but it can serve as a tool through which people get realigned to purpose. So I'm deliberate. There are some innuendos. There are some things that could not look deliberate, but are actually deliberately put in there. I don't want to cast myself like my merch, the shirts I talk, some of the things I say, so not being too obvious, but still doing everything I do with a sense of purpose. And also, one of the things that drives me most in my life and gives me a sense of fulfillment is seeing people get better or leaving people better than how I met them. Mm-hmm. So for me, there are many facets to my life, a whole lot. So for example, I have political inclinations. I don't know if you know that. It's that part you'll see very soon. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I have businesses. I invest in businesses. I have businesses that I own and founded by the grace of God and all. So I believe that we have an excellent spirit as believers because God is excellent. Creation and every single thing in it is proof. Is proof and is enough evidence of a creator God. So if God created the cattle or owns the cattle upon 1,000 hills, God created the Kilimanjaros and the oceans, and the same oceans know their boundaries, put every single thing in it. But nature in and of itself is, exemplary. Nature in and of itself is a quintessence of excellence. So how much more we who are from God? So I always tell myself every single day, because God is excellent, definitely excellence is, demanded from every single thing that I touch. So I go about my day-to-day activities with fervor, energy, and all. But in the midst of it, there's still priorities. So for example, anything that takes the place of God in my life, I run away from. So as important as work is, as important as chasing the bag is, which is important, by the way, because it helps you wield the tool of influence. Let's be honest. It must never take the place of God in my life. So it's just about balance. And the truth of the matter is, many times, the lines are blurred. So you don't know when you are crossing it. So there's always...
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
The lines are blurred, yes. Because sometimes you could be thinking that, you're trying to use your career as a way to glorify God, right? Quote and unquote, glorify God. And then you can get too carried away with the career and you forget the God who you're trying to glorify. And you see, the thing is, the fleeting riches of the world have a major pull that makes you lose focus. So every believer must always have special periods and moments where you recalibrate and realign your focus. You must stop yourself at some point. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. How far is too far? And then, when you begin to shift the goalposts, it always starts with extra hours at the office, and that prayer meeting you were supposed to attend normally, you don't go. From there, it goes to spending more time with people who can corrupt, your focus and your very ideals. And then you move from there to maybe, just in a bid to maintain that career, change the first figure. And then from there, you keep changing and changing till you get to a point where you don't know yourself. So I have a video, one of my best videos, if not my best video. People have different interpretations of what your best video is. But one of my best videos is the video where I said, don't lose your innocence. Don't lose your innocence. And then also, you must have friends who can serve as guardrails at times. The community always matters. It always matters. See, my friends are top 2, top 3 most important things in my life. If you take my friends away from me, it's game over. Because they could be the external voice along that combines with the internal voice of the Holy Ghost to call you to order and bring caution when you get carried away. Yeah, very important.
You talk about always being able to call yourself back and realign your focus.
Yeah.
Do you have a routine or something that you do that helps you maintain that focus on a daily basis?
Yeah, I have a routine.
Again, this is not trying to make a doctrine out of it or say, oh, this is the way it must be done because this is the way Olushola does it. No, it's just trying to give an example of how, in the midst of a busy life, of having all these demands, because the truth is, it can get to a point where everything just kind of overwhelms you and the blessings that God has given you now become a burden. But in order for that not to happen, you need to continue to draw strength from God and really just hand over everything to Him. So, but how do you make that happen in the midst of everything that you have going on?
Can I be honest? It gets overwhelming, not once in a while, not sometimes, many times, most times. I'll be vulnerable. At this moment of editing this video, I'm currently a little bit overwhelmed. And it's because There's so many demands, so many things calling for my attention. I wake up every single day with a burden. Burden as a pastor, yes, who by privilege is pastoring hundreds of people, being called to serve under, Apostle Emmanuel Lawrence ministry and everything and all. So I'm a resident pastor, I have people in pastoring, but not just that. I wake up with the burden of people who come for counsels in their hundreds every week or let's say month. I wake up also with the burdens of tens of employees cut across several businesses. I wake up also with the burden of my family. I wake up also with my own personal burdens. So I'm naturally, usually very usually very and I don't have it all figured out. So I have to be clear because we could get carried away with videos thinking, this guy has everything figured out. To a great extent, I have a lot of things figured out, but I don't have everything figured out. Yes. So
I think I really, really appreciate your vulnerability. And I like what you said, because a lot of times people see the glam, they see the nice suits, they see the nice haircuts, and the thousands of followers, hundreds of thousands of followers. And it's like, wow, I really want to be like this guy. But, I mean, do you really want to?
I'll give you an idea.
Okay.
Currently, as it stands, as I speak with you, by God's grace, I pastor a church. This is like the biggest privilege of my life because seeing that I'm responsible for the spiritual investments of hundreds of people, so Apostle Manuel put me in charge of a branch, right? Celebration Church, a branch of Celebration Church. Now, I pastor people every single time. Now, that's a job on its own. As much as it is, it's like a job, a section of its own, right? I create content. I was privileged to have some very crazy growth in metrics. So I have maybe almost 500,000 followers cut across all social media platforms. There's that in and of itself. So there's the burden of constantly creating content that they want. Feeding that
machine.
And then an average. And so there's that. Now, I'm an entrepreneur. Cyril, I have businesses, some you don't even know about. I'm CEO of a fast-growing fashion brand that has several employees and services several customers. I resume every single day. You must show up here, show up there, show up here. You're mentor to people. You're also someone's child and you have a family. And then imagine if you are also someone's lover. So the thing is, all of these things I just mentioned are some people's full-time jobs. And then you're having to combine every single thing. So trust me, I don't have it all figured out. But what I always try to do is, like I said, prioritize. And then also put a system and a structure in place. So these things can thrive in and of themselves. For example, I have this small business that I am yet to really see any of the products with my physical eyes for the past 6 months. It's been managed by people. They're doing their bit, they're doing this, they're doing this, they're doing that and all. So when you be a serial entrepreneur, you can't be CEO, in my opinion, of more than one business if you really want the business to thrive. So there's that. So you show up for structures. So I have an executive assistant. That executive assistant is going to have his own personal assistant very soon, and a digital assistant, because you have to create a system and a structure where things can thrive both in your absence and also, in your presence and stuff like that. So, but yeah, there are days where I wake up with headaches. There are days where I just cry and nobody knows. There are days where God help this business. There are days where it's God help me myself. I had a friend over at my office some days ago, Salem King. He's also a popular content creator. Amazing guy. And then for the very first time, I was vulnerable enough to tell him, I said, bro, when I started creating content, I'm like a whale. Let me put it to you. If you sit me down now, or even if I tell me you need 10 videos, I'll give you the video content now, word for word. Some days ago, I was at the office and I told him, I said, bro, I never knew I'd get to a point where maybe there could be a creative block. But I've come to the end of myself. I'm tired. I don't feel like recording videos. And people like my mention saying, we miss you. When are you dropping something? When is this happening? When is that? I was having some personal things. I was trying to prepare for a sermon, trying to prepare for a meeting. All of these things can happen at the same time. So can you divide yourself? What do you do? So yeah, every day I pray, I structure my day and all. It helps, it works. I'm thriving, yes, but it's not always 2 plus 2.
Yeah. I remember sometime last year. Was it last year now? This is 2023. Be 2022. Yeah, around this time last year too. I basically went through like a life overhaul, and it helped me to answer this question that you're talking about, the question of being overwhelmed, like as a multi-potentialite or somebody that has so many things. And I really, really went through a time of rediscovering myself, not just rediscovering myself, but also aligning my inner self with my outer self. I don't know if that makes sense. But yes, and since then, I realized that in order for you to truly thrive and not be burdened by many of the demands that are coming your way, you really need to figure out how to nurture your soul. And that's something that me personally, I practice on a regular basis. And for me, on a day-to-day basis, not regular as in weekly, as in every day. And I'm not saying that I don't get overwhelmed or something like that. There are times when I'm tempted to be overwhelmed and, I'm almost overwhelmed. Like I can feel it coming, when I have like a million deadlines. I have my son, I have my husband, and I'm feeling bad. I can't be there for my son. And then I have to travel.
Different facets of your life.
Exactly. And, there was a time my siblings were even complaining because I'm the first child and I have 4 siblings. One of my siblings was complaining that I don't have time for her anymore, and I get it, I understand. But at moments like that, or is it in moments like that?
Anyone.
Okay, because you are the wordsmith here, so I need to ask you. So, in moments like that, what really helps is just taking a step back. And, I can give an example. Like recently, I had something I'm not sure I want to share it now, but like something very, very traumatic happened to me. I basically lost everything valuable that I own. And this was just last week. Sorry. No, it's fine. And then I was traveling. I was away from my son, like the whole month of June. I was maybe with my son for 2 weeks, and feeling bad that now I'm not with him. I love being a mother. I love nurturing and taking care of my son, doing the day-to-day things. So not having the privilege to do that for me can be very painful, And then also I have shining lights. So there are so many things, and then I almost started feeling overwhelmed. I could feel it that, it's coming, and I noticed that one thing that was, that one reason why it was getting to me was because my devotion was also suffering, because I would sleep late, have to wake up, maybe I'll wake up too late. And then I'm always going. And you were almost getting to the end of the world. Exactly. Yeah. And I could hear myself already telling my husband, babe, how this week has been, And when I hear myself already confessing my weaknesses, I'm
that's the point.
Yeah, that's the point. So for me, at points like that, I don't usually let it get to that point, because to be honest, God's grace, even though now maybe it may feel like you have a lot going on, most of the times I feel like everything works seamlessly and it's not that bad really, But times like that, when it gets really, really much, what I do is I just try to spend time alone. And this is something that works for me personally. I remember the other day I put on my Instagram, I was like, how do you rest? I'm curious,
That's the question I have to ask you. I don't know how that thing works.
And people were like sending me suggestions. To be honest, I never read the answers. Reason being that I needed to be off Instagram as well. But I was introspecting and thinking about it. And I took in my journal a simple question like, how do I rest? And I started writing things that truly nurture me and refill me and recharge my batteries. And I thought about sleep. Sleep, yes, but sometimes you sleep and you wake up tired, So sleep is good. Watching movies, no. It just like, I overthink and I'm like thinking about, even when I sleep, I'm dreaming about the movie I just watched. So it's stressful.
Movies, and they sleep off.
No, I can't sleep. That's the problem. Once I start a movie, I have to finish it. So movies definitely don't help. But reading helps. I notice that when I read, I feel refreshed. Prayer definitely helps. And not
silent prayer or quiet one.
Just quiet, soaking in. And this is something that I learned very, very early from Pastor Emmanuel, honestly. Just like learning how to dwell in God and enjoy God's presence. That helps. And honestly, I just did it for like 15 minutes and I was like, yes, we are back. We are good to go, And then also just waking up before everyone else, before the world wakes up, waking up, spending time with myself. I love reading my Bible. It's so refreshing. Reading my Bible and then just worshiping and okay, I'm good, So I think
so you have the hack already. In the sense that you know how to get back on track when that time comes.
And it's not something that I learned overnight. It's something that first of all I had to figure out by sitting down to really think about myself. So it's also a level of self-discovery, I think, And I still owe myself a massage and spa treatment, but that one is coming. It's work season now. But yeah, I think for young entrepreneurs and young go-getters and people that want to push and everything, so that we don't get to the point where we are exhausted and we are not able to fully live out all that God has designed us to do, it's good to just really introspect and think about how you refresh, how you recharge, And I think also something that I think would help people is knowing that, especially people that are like overdoers and overachievers, is knowing that you don't really need to load yourself with so many things at once every day. Like for me, the way my mind works, I need a to-do list for me to know that I have a hold or a hang of my day and my life. So I always have a to-do list. But the mistake I always make is that I pack so many things
on it.
It's like, as in I'll say I want to do this, but I'm learning to just take a step back and slow down. And, there's this rule where they always say I have like 3 main goals every day. 3. So it's hard. It's very difficult for me.
My own problem is that, God, mine is, yours is per day, right? Mine is, there are like 6 projects I have on my mind right now that I must launch out between now and the end of the year.
So who put the deadline?
I put it by myself.
Okay, so you can also...
That's the point. So,
this is like therapy.
People have to call me to order. Yes, that's what it is. And now I'm trying to like learn a lot because somebody special to me, leave it at special, please. Someone special to me had to tell me, look, I'm so worried about you. I read somewhere that you should not have more than 3 things you are trying to do at the same time. But the thing is that because I'm multifaceted, each of the major pillars in my life have things under them that have to be done. And let me tell you how funny it was. Imagine having an executive assistant, and that executive assistant now needs his own assistants. So already, even
that's a lot.
as a content creator, I have 2 projects that will launch this year. Not the regular 1-minute videos. I have 2 more important
But
things
Shola,
that people need to see. I'm with you.
Yeah. No, sorry. I'm so sorry to cut you short. Don't you think, because okay, let me say what I want to say then. I'll say because don't you think that you are taking on too much? That's the first thing. Second thing is, using myself as an example, for this show, I had, a very elaborate plan and long list of people that I wanted to interview, and they, like, in my mind, and when I drew everything down and, I wrote everything, drew my mind map and everything and how it's going to work, it was brilliant. But at this stage, and there was something I heard in my spirit this morning, which is accept where you are and function from that place and grow. Have a growth mindset. Because being a media person, right, I know the end. I know what it takes to build a show and what,
you've been in the process before you
right? So there is the temptation to want to do it at that level. But the truth is, right now, I can't, because I don't have an assistant. I'm doing everything by myself, right? But what is the best I can do at this level? And then also, I was also thinking about going through my guest list and thinking about, this person hasn't really gotten back to me yet, blah, blah, blah. And, I have like 8 other guests that haven't responded, and 7 have, just as an example, have responded and everything. And it was like the Holy Spirit was just telling me, like, why?
How about those that have responded?
Yeah. So you mentioned focus, the power of focus. I'm training myself right now to kind of take my energy and focus it on doing, if I know I'm going to do 7 interviews, for example, they are going to be really, really, really good. Not that I'm just going to do like, I did this and this and this. Do you get?
So where's the real fulfillment coming from and stuff like that? Yeah, that's pretty much what you use. And I think it's really good. So the thing is this, it's what I need to work on. Do you understand? And then I know this interview is supposed to be like me, like that normal interviews are like you, the speaker, trying to come and tell people all the things you've worked on that are perfect and all the things you're trying to work on. So what I'm trying to work on is I have the tendency to take up a lot of things at a time. And then it always will.
But what if you okay, sorry.
Go ahead, please.
No, I wanted to say that if you and when I mentioned that something happened to, like, I had like a moment of transformation last year, was also this. The basis for any form of accomplishment is self-awareness. Yeah. Being aware of who you are, your abilities, what you can do, what you can take on part-time. So I think if you just, it's easy for me to say, right? But I mean, it's easy for me to say, so let me say it. So maybe just also being aware and conscious that you have limited time, limited energy. It's not easy. And sometimes you're not being fair to yourself when you take on all these things.
I know. I'm very well aware. But to be frank, I think this one is a story for a separate interview. This was like a long. I don't want to eat too much into the time. So, truth of the matter is, I'm trying to let go of many things that I want to do, but I just feel. And the thing is about time being ripe, time not being ripe. And for example, some of these projects I'm mentioning are things that have been in the works for a long time, but because this particular aspect of myself, maybe this particular business demanded a particular thing from me, I focused on that, and now shops and everyone kept on pushing. And I'm like, okay, now I've pushed so many things. I'm setting a target that I must complete everything. So here's the thing, there's a balance to it, right? Personally, I always tell people when they come to me for counsels, like, look, don't rush. You still have a life ahead of you. However, there's the other extreme of, I still have a life ahead of me, I can chill for as long as I want to.
Yeah.
Right? Then there's a middle ground. I always believe, I made a video on this. I said that one of the smartest ladies I've ever met told me that she believes that the two most important things for anybody who wants to get better has to know, number one, is that there has to be a sense of self-awareness. Who am I? Where am I? What do I want to do? And then number two, willingness to improve. So there's a middle ground. The middle ground, in my opinion, is, okay, I know myself, right? This is where I want to get to, right? Okay, let's compromise, quote unquote, let's reach some compromise, right? Get to a particular point, and then let's have a working formula. So for me, yes, I'm able to shelve some other things. That's why I told you personally that this is one of the very few interviews or speaking engagements that I've honored.
Because you just don't have the capacity.
I can't be everywhere. It has taken its toll on several parts of my life. I had to keep my friendly, like I can't entertain new friends. Is that serious?
Yeah.
Because the existing ones, I'm not done calling them. I'm being honest.
Thank you.
I'm a circle conscious human being. Hey, Holy Ghost. Everybody that follows me and also can tell you who all my close friends are. Is that serious? Let me tell you how crazy it is. I have a friend, my close friend. I said, bro, yeah, usually on the call for an hour, 2 hours per day. I envy it. I wish I can do that because you check up on your siblings and your friends a lot. So I grew up in a family where my mom never used words of affirmation like I love you. Neither did my elder brother. In fact, it was awkward. The first time or major time my dad ever told me he loves me was recently towards his wedding.
Oh.
And I'm like, crazy guy. He said, you're the best brother in the world. I'm like, dude, I'm your only brother. Or hold on, I'm your only sibling. Right? And that's cool, right? But I grew up in that kind of family where, you do not say I did for you. I know say you did for me. My brother can give me his eye. I know. You get my point. So I kind of carry that same formula to my friends. When we all finally plan to get to meet together, so my house usually is like the meeting point for most of my close friends, right? Because I'm a people person to the core. But in terms of the nitty-gritties of always calling this one every single second. So when I now get to, so I have to learn words of affirmation about myself to make every moment count. So when I call you and spend 10 minutes with you, you will feel all the love in the world. So if I'm on the call for 30 minutes, for up to 1 hour with somebody, high chances are, number one, is maybe, what am I talking about? It's maybe
Your special. Okay.
Love matter, right? Or maybe it's my pastor. I'm not even joking because he's the only person that I can talk to for that long and he dictates the pace of the conversation. And that's the truth. I cannot say, Pastor, I'm going to do something. Everybody at my office knows, no matter the meeting I'm in, if his call comes in, I'll run. My mother doesn't call. My mother, show her, okay, show her, pa, boom, and that's it. When we all want to see, we can sit and talk. Trust me, I'm extroverted when I want to be. But I've become an ambivert over the last few years. So here's my point, and here's where I'm bringing everything home to. I found out that when it all comes down to it, well, I have to strike a balance. So now I have all these things that I want to do, right? Because it's affecting other things, right? What things I want to do now, I have to pick the most important ones and then also delegate. Because, for example, now I'm having people who handle my editing and I don't have any business with who shoots what, how the video comes out. Just let me see it in the end. I'll correct a few things and all. That takes some burden off my chest, right? I have a CEO in my fashion company, by God's grace. She handles the operations. I come as CEO. I'm more strategic. She's tactical. So I found out that the moment you begin to build structure around those things you want to get done, the easier it becomes. And then you accomplish bigger things with less physical effort exerted into these things, right? But obviously a lot of mental things, right? So anytime I see a huge challenge and all the projects I have in mind, you know what comes to my mind? I take it on as a leadership challenge more than a personal challenge. I'm like, Olushola, if you've been able to build structure enough with this business, you shouldn't be having sleepless nights on this.
It's called transferable
wisdom. Exactly, transferable wisdom. And you have to believe in the capacity. And you have to believe in the how do I put it? You have to believe in the power of delegation. You have to, because I'm that kind of person that you're there to do something. as you are trying to do it, I say, no, that's not, leave it, I'll do it by myself.
But you have to be comfortable.
You have to be comfortable and understand and accept the fact that they will make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
They will make mistakes. Because I'm an idealist, I'm a perfectionist. I always want things done perfectly. And I soon found out God was teaching me properly. 75%, heaven bears me witness. You can ask my editor off camera. 75% of the videos that blew up on my Instagram that people love. Like, let me tell you how these videos blew up to the point that apparently I think I have more fans on WhatsApp offline than the guys on Instagram. So me, I was thinking my mother is not on Instagram. She does not know how quote unquote popular our son has become, right? So until one of my mom's friends came and said, your mom sent me your video. My mother, hey, how? Stuff like that. So the videos that blew up online are videos that I never wanted to post. I always see the fault. I always see this. However, the detail of everything I've been saying is that many times there's beauty in imperfections. There's beauty in imperfections. All those projects you think, just like you're saying, you are an idealist. In your mind, this is how it should be. This is how it ought to be. But look at it. You draw video 1, video 2, video 3. It's blessing lives. There was even one of your videos that came on my TL. I said, video 80 low. It came 3 times on my TL. I said, I follow Flourish now. I follow Flourish. Why am I seeing this video 1 million times? I'm not even joking. And then you see, it's possible for you to have shot those 12 videos with the people you're targeting, right? And you may not have done those numbers and blessed lives as much as this one is. So I personally feel like in the journey of life, perfection is kind of an illusion. Progress is what is most important. So all these projects I just mentioned, that's what I want to do. Will I get everything done? I tell myself yes, right?
I love the pressure you are putting on yourself and the urgency, because not many people have that. A lot of people are not actually. What's that quote that we learned in TMC?
Which one? 85%
of people don't think.
No, and some
How
think
many
that they think. We are thinking and not thinking that.
So most people
actually and the other ones.
Most people actually don't think. But most people, when I say don't think, like they are not thinking about the trajectory of their lives. And most people are not thinking about making an impact. They just want to feed their families and all of that. So the fact that you have that, yes, it's really, really inspiring. But at the same time, like you've said, like there has to be a balance. You have to make sure that you don't crumble under the burden of everything.
Sorry to cut you. Funny thing, I fall ill pretty often.
See.
It's a serious fight between me and another workaholic, pastor. Serious workaholic, and he's like, you're always falling ill, you're always tired, you're always doing too much. I'm like, most of you are surviving, And then, so all some of these principles are also things that he, even applies to himself and everything. But what I'm saying is that you can get so overwhelmed that it takes its toll
on your health. Yes.
And my illnesses are not serious. It is just like malaria, fever. I'm always tired.
There was a time when I think I traveled. I can't remember when it was. Recently I traveled, and I told you I made this elaborate plan for Shining Light. I was supposed to come back and start recording, blah blah blah, and I got sick. I was so vexed. I was like, I don't have time for this. Like literally.
It's a reminder that no matter the plans you make, it's like the Bible says that if man wakes up, say I'll do this today, do this today, do this tomorrow, and then you're reminded that life is but what?
Exactly.
It can be there today.
It's true, and I feel like that's why we must never, ever, ever forget what is important. Because as much as it is to do all these amazing things and live out our fullest potential, the most important thing is our relationship with God. The most important thing is basically you can imagine the Bible says that there are people that when they get to heaven, they will say, oh God, I healed the sick for you. I did all these things for you. And Jesus will be like, I don't know you. Who are you? And, that will never be our testimony in Jesus' name. But we must not be so busy with the work of God that we forget the God of the work.
Preach.
That
Mama
one
flow.
is stolen. No, I saw it somewhere.
Mama flow.
No, but honestly, I think it's something that we must keep reminding ourselves. More so, that's the only way we can really, really fulfill all that God has planned for us. Like Papa or Bishop Oyedepo will always say, the only the hand of God can fulfill the plan of God. Like if you try to do what God has given you by your own power, by your own ability, natural ability, it's not possible. It's too much. Do you understand? So yeah, I think that's very important. One thing that I've always admired about you is the fact that you surround yourself with lots of wise people. And I'm not even talking about friends now, in terms of like mentors and people that are ahead of you. I don't know if you have any friend that is your mate. Maybe you do, maybe you
that's
don't.
true. Do you know that's so true?
And I even
get
saw that you were saying that.
I get that a lot.
That you will probably marry somebody that is older.
I get that a lot. So I have like no, but that's changed though.
Oh, that's changed.
That's changed.
Okay.
Hey God, oh.
You said you probably get married to somebody that
Yeah,
is older
probably.
than
So the thing is, earlier in my life, I used to date little people who were older than I am, and it's not like a deliberate endeavor. It was like a natural consequence of things because I was usually the youngest person everywhere. Like I was the youngest person in my class. In my set, I was one of the youngest people. I graduated school at 19. At my office right now, where my business, like the one where I'm CEO, trips, right? I have a core team, like unit leads, exact like my top people, or like maybe almost 10 people. And I think I'm older than just one or two of them. Just puts things in perspective, and that's fine. But so, which means that I get to meet people who are usually older than I am. So the dating on always came from the fact that I don't like you finish before I say you won't pass me. I was like, I'm not saying no, love, you can't just quench the love like you go for it. So I dated someone who was too the one babe I crushed on all through my stay at the university. She's married now, by the way. I made the clothes for her husband's for the pre-wedding shoot. He paid me. I'm like, I'm over it now, obviously, but I didn't mess up the clothes, by the way. But long and short, she was 3 years older than I was. And I felt like that was love of my life, the only air that I'll breathe and everything and all, but story. So yeah, surround people who are older than I am. I think among my close friend group, I'm older than just one person. Just one person. And that one person is my editor. I'm not an him with 3 months. I'm his other brother. I'm not his mate. Just want him to know.
So how do you maintain relationships with people that are ahead of you without messing up the relationship?
I have a video on that.
Okay.
Where I talked about managing privileged relationships. I think first and foremost, I'm naturally a very respectful person. Very. I was brought up well. So I know what to say. I know how to say it by God's grace many times. But sometimes also, everybody needs cane, including myself once in a while, So also having yourself around people who can correct you. I'm going to make a video on this. Many times, people high up on the success ladder are good at correcting people, but have no one to correct them. Everybody. Think of anybody you know. Yes, many times it's like that. So, but you need to surround yourself with people who can call you out on your crap. I use that word. Call you out on that crap, like the yama you do. Have people who can call you out, Not call you out like call you out, but like tell you, here's what I think. I felt you were out of line here. I thought you this. So I create an atmosphere where an atmosphere where my friends have a stake in my life. And so it's impossible for me, it's impossible for any of my close friends to do wrong. And I'll open my eyes and laugh and yes, girl, yes, guy, go for it. So that's how I built it with even the friends older. So how have I been able to manage with them is understand boundaries, also try to also be ahead of the curve. When I'm ahead of the curve with particularly your peers, when you're ahead of the curve with your peers, you'll be almost at the same, wavelength with them. And then also, growing up also helped me. I was always in conversations with my aunties, my grandma. So I know how elderly people think. My friend was saying that, bro, I envy you with parents. So he said, there's no elderly person that cannot throw you in the midst of you always find your place. Let me tell you how serious it is. If I'm dating somebody and I go to meet the person's parents, my heart doesn't beat. I just be plus boom small, because drop me in the middle of the ocean and come back 10 minutes time, we're already laughing about something, because always something that I always try to say that could get it done. So I think I'm blessed with that naturally, but also you keep the relationships. And there are also some little trips and things that could help you. First and foremost, people who are high up there and elderly, they like respect. Give them what they like. Number two, the little things that you don't know or you don't think are important to them. I don't go to anybody's house. In fact, if I knew I was coming to your house and was going to meet your husband, who I've not seen in years, I would have come with a gift. It's like that. So little things like that. And also try to offer value to them more than anything else. I tell you this because not just in business, in every other area of life, there's something a quote I saw from Apostle Selman online, because I use the quote, but I use my own quote. I have a quote on it, but his own is even better. He said, who doesn't like you doesn't matter, but who likes you matters. And I have to say this time and again. And see, one relationship one relationship is worth 20 connections, is worth 20, 50 job applications. I've seen lives that God has used me to change just by, Pastor, please help me find a job for this guy. And then the person comes from here to this. How much more me myself? I've seen some relationships that are worth the revenue of your existing business currently. One client plugging you to several others. So you must hold relationships. I hold relationships as important as anything else. I never put money on the table when I'm relating with these people. God, I'm not supposed to be saying this, because if I say it, you will know who the person is. Someone might know. I have a mentor that by the way, I don't use the word mentor anyhow. It's very important. Role model is very important. Mentor. So mentor is very strong word to me. I have a particular mentor who, first time I used to write, like I used to be a rewriter and everything. So first time he ever asked me to do something for him and all, my person will say, how much are you going to pay me, sir? I did it. When I finished, he said, I want to pay. I said, I lie. I ran away. Next time he came, he forced Uber money to me. He has forgotten. He forced Uber money to me. Next time, then I charged, right? We did it. I never knew we were building relationship until I found out that this same guy, multi-millionaire, will call me when once in a while he needs clarity on something he's about to do. And I'm like, this is strange, right? But I offered value first. Honest value should be most important. I've done stuff for him where he will be shocked. There was one day he literally called me up and I did something for him. I won't say what the thing is. So we see, and then he looks at me and says, what's that account number again? I want to invest into this particular thing that you just did for me. You doing it for other people and everything. And then he sent me about $1 million. Yoruba will say, like, be lifer. Nothing. Just did that. And when I look at him today, I didn't start because of his money. Let's be clear. I went because of the value he gives me. There are principles I adopt today in my business that he taught me.
Yeah.
Valuable, heaven bears me witness. I have never ever picked up the phone and begged him for money. I need money for something, or try to be close to him for the money. No, I've had value first. So some days he will come to drive himself to my house, my own house, and sit down and ask me a question, or we're talking about something. That's the beauty of everything.
Yeah.
So that's it. So that's
don't just
how I
look for
relate
what
to
you
them.
can get.
And because the average, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to call. I feel sometimes Gen Zs are unfairly mentioned every single time when they're looking for people who are spoiled and all, right? So I'm not going to use Gen Zs. Even some millennials, even some old
Young
people
person,
are like
you
that.
can say
Even some old people are like
Okay.
that. There's some people who are very myopic. All they see or think about in any relationship is what they can gain instantly. They forget that the journey is long. The journey is long. The journey is long. The journey is long. That's all I have to say.
Wow. So let's talk about the part that you don't want to talk about.
What part?
Relationship.
Hey! I have a friend who said relationship Congratulations in the ship. Sorry. Hey, what's up with relationships?
Okay,
How can I help you?
How can you help me? How can you help
How
me?
can I help you? Tell me what do you want to know? Straight face.
From the perspective of a pastor, a business guy, you seem like you have everything going for you. The only thing left now is marriage. I'm talking as like a typical African mother or typical African person, right? How does it feel to be, usually we talk about the pressure on women, like when it comes to marriage. But as a guy, what does it feel like? Like when people are always like, how far now? When are you bringing us a wife? Like, what is it like?
Let me be honest. I don't feel 1 ounce of pressure. Me. Oh, to be clear, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just 27.
You are just 27.
Yes, I'm just 27. I want to be clear.
I don't want to make you feel bad, but go ahead.
No, see, talk am now. Say you marry at 24.
No, I was
now. You want to talk that? Talk am now. Talk am.
That's what I was to say.
Talk am.
I was say that 27 is young, but like
talk am.
At your age, you should have had like 5 children or 4.
If I knew, I would come here for them to yab me. Now I don't know the people with this. Yeah, you're actually right. 27 is not a young age when you get married.
Young.
It's not really young. Perspective, really. When people tell me, to be honest, so first and foremost, as a pastor, 27 is a ripe enough age to marry. In fact, the sooner the better, because it obviously helps you.
And your church, you guys have like lots of young.
I think pretty much everybody got married before 27, except Pastor K and Pastor Tolu. I think every other person got married at about this age, thereabout. Maybe 28, thereabout. So yeah, but for me, it's more about, it's a statement that I make in my language, one mullet comma, which means that when it all comes down to it, I see marriage as an extremely sacred thing. In the sense that, I'm sorry, for me, if I enter like this, it don't be you. So I have to make sure that I'm making, it's arguably the most important decision you make after salvation. So I feel like it's gonna have to be worth my time, worth my while, and the person that has got to be somebody that, not just somebody. Hey, I have to say this is very important. Marriage is not just picking out somebody who, how do I put it? It's not just picking out somebody who looks good at the moment or someone who looks great for you as it stands, but somebody who you can bet on and someone who you can bank on. That even though seasons will come and go, even though things will change, even though your character will further keep on getting developed and take different shapes and forms, that most importantly, the person will never lose the person's identity. The essence of everything. So this is important, and that's it for me. So
what are you waiting for? Okay, maybe first to find the person, but secondly, you were saying that you wanted to be able to fund honeymoon in what country? I saw that. Honeymoon in what country?
That one is pretty, don't mind me, just me playing around, but there's quite some truth in it. So ideally for me, I have some ideals. I won't lie to you. If I won't marry, I have a particular amount of money I must be in my account, because I'll be honest with you, I don't want to, say I should speak.
I
don't want to marry and not have specific things in place. And the truth of the matter is, for me, I'm obviously very thrifty with money. Investments must be here. This one must be here. This one must be here. I'm the kind of person that will not change my phone because there's a new phone. I'm the kind of person that will only change my phone if they say they cannot repair it. I'm being honest though. I'm the kind of person that, as I speak to you, have just one gene. I'm the kind of person that I'm as thrifty as you like, even with my own things. Like I'm the founder of a clothing brand, and I can't how many natives I have. Is that serious? So how that translates to marriage is, that can be me for me. But when it comes to marriage and dating, I'm an Igbo man at heart.
What do you mean?
Bakatai. Man, an Igbo man, particularly the ones who are in business and traders, you don't see their money on them. You see their money in their spouse. You understand?
Sorry to cut you short. They were like, one time Papa was talking and he was like, me, I wear the same suit every day. But if you want to know, like,
really?
I can't say, like, look at my wife.
Hey!
So yeah, I
she must, all the money that is not showing in me, you must see it in my wife, my mother. When I blow, I never blow. I still dey scratch. My wife, my mother, my auntie, my female daughter. The boys go grind together. I not really send them. I'm just being frank. That's how I think.
Yeah, but don't you think you should build together with your wife?
That's another one. We're going to build, but make the foundation reach somewhere first. If we got this build. How many build in that build?
We are just starting.
Still building, but
no.
You get, but there were some things you get. Don't get me wrong, but that's really not my hold up. To be frank, don't get me wrong. I was just
that's what I'm saying.
One was just a teaser at the time. So for me, and then who says it's not really close? Who says it's not? By the way, why
I said it? Please let everybody see that fake. Fake wedding ring. You don't know whether you are hindering,
So I've been wearing this for 5 years. It's deliberate. It's important. It's because to a given extent, it could chase as many people as possible away, first and foremost. If you honest with you, my target market or the girl I was trying to get, they know I'm single. Or they knew I was single at the time I was wearing all of these rings and everything. So, for example, on social media, I'm so happy. Whenever I display this, it limits the number of DMs I get. So I'm so excited, pretty much, and all because I'm not looking for a wife. You get my point, the hair and everything. So, not looking for a wife. It could mean many things. It could mean I'm not interested. It could mean I found. It could be. But to be honest, this shocking thing. Some don't have any respect for the wedding band. Some people have no regard for it. But it is well.
Maybe because they've done there. Because it's not easy to know that you are not married, to be honest. Just go to your page for a few minutes. I will know. Right?
So that's it. That's it with me and love and that's I think that's about it. So if you have any other question, that's about that.
Okay. I think I'm basically done.
Okay.
But we have to do rapid fire.
Hey, Christ.
Okay. So we have to go through we'll do 10 rapid fire questions. Okay. Rapid fire. Like you have less than a second to think about your answer. You have to be fast. Choose between these two. So you have two options.
Okay.
Work or play?
Work.
Love or friendship?
Friendship.
Love
because
or friendship?
Love, for me, I get you, but for me, love, that to get there, I believe friendship will build into, even as kind of love now, romantic love, friendship.
Money or happiness?
Happiness.
Are you sure?
Happiness. Okay. But money brings. Money can never buy happiness. Have you bought a teenager PlayStation 5 before? Or has Man United signed Harry Kane with money and I will say there's no happiness? Give me. Oh, Holy Ghost.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs. Bingo. Do
you still have your dog? What's the name of your dog?
Keaton. No.
What happened to Keaton?
Donato says, my friend, he had to take him. Because at the time I was really busy. I was always very busy with work. I think I was traveling also. I used to be very active. Traveling with my apostle then and everything across Nigeria. And with the time we travel a lot. I leave the dog. And then my housemate is not really like a doggy person like that and all. And then one time the dog came to my office and then he came to my house. So the dog, he saw the dog and said, the dog was all over him. Saying, let him come for holiday now in my house. And then that's how I went for holidays. And then, ladies and gentlemen, till today. They brought him after like 3 months from the holiday. And I said, my dog's like him. I should just be taking him. I was like, hey. if he stays, I may not really have
can't
his
take
time.
care of him.
Give his son, so you know.
Okay.
Wow, I'm gonna have a dog soon when I get married.
Okay, soon. I
And
like that.
'cause
Thank you.
I just
Soon.
could be dating a dog lover.
Okay,
I could.
thank you. Okay. Morning or evening?
Evening.
Sweet or salty?
Sweet.
Um,
I like coastal.
morning showers or night showers? Okay.
Night showers.
Physical strength or mental strength?
Mental strength all day.
Okay.
All day.
Final question. Social time or alone time?
Alone time.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, Flourish.
Thank you so much.
So honored to be here. Thank you. Thank you for your
this
time.
was fun. I
Yes,
really enjoyed
I really
it.
did. Also, thank you for the tips and every other
Yes,
thing. you
this
did.
was like this is the highest I've said. Usually I just keep quiet. But
Yeah, it's important.
thank you.
It's important. Yeah, that's it. And also, we at least we have like shared experiences.
Yes,
so it's more
yes,
relatable.
yes.
Thank you so much for everything.
It's more relatable. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Flourish.
Okay.